Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Big thank you to our sponsor, Celebrity Coaches, providing transportation to the biggest names in entertainment. Thanks to Celebrity, we're hitting the road to talk to the pros that make concerts and live events happen. Today, we're on the streets of Nashville, Tennessee. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please leave us a comment. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Today, we are very happy to be talking to our guest. She is a singer, songwriter, artist, and dog mom. Originally from West Palm Beach, Florida, she started singing from the early age of 4. Later, at Wellington High School, she started playing in bands and eventually formed a new group called Hey Monday. That pop-punk band became an international sensation together for the better part of 4 years. At the end of 2011, Hey Monday went on hiatus while she moved from Florida to California to pursue a solo career. In 2012, she decided to enter the TV vocal competition, The Voice. She walked away with the Season 3 crown, also making her the first female winner of The Voice. On to Nashville, launching her solo country career. Her first release, Frame by Frame, debuted at number 1 on the Top Country Albums chart of 2013. Since then, till now, she's been performing, writing, recording, and touring the world with her own unique style of music. In 2020, she released Rise and Shine, featuring her co-writing and co-producing on every track. And in 2021, a brand new single, What the Stars See, featuring Lindsay Ell and Karen Fairchild. She's one of the most talented and mentally tough people that I know. She is Miss CASSADEE Pope.
Wow, very good, Don.
Did I get all that right?
You got all of that right. You made me sound so much cooler.
I don't know about that. Well, it's so nice to be on a bus with you again.
I know.
I feel like I should go find you a gym and get you a coffee or something.
Yeah, and find me a bathroom, let's be honest.
Well,
I'm like, okay, first things first, where's the bathroom, Don?
I was going to say that. I thought, I'll throw that out there.
You let me take it there, yeah.
Okay. When was the last time you were on a bus?
Well, sooner than I expected, because
Yeah.
I just went out with Chris Young for a show in November, but it was bizarre because we all got tested. We had to get tested and provide a negative result in order to get on the bus, and we all still wore masks and everything, and the venue was a baseball stadium, and the crowd were in little pods spread out, so it was the most bizarre bus/show experience ever.
Well, it's probably close to what it might end up being like.
Yeah.
When we do get back on buses and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, I had the honor of being CASSADEE's tour manager for a few years, and one of the things that makes me smile still to this day is the times that you unintentionally would say something into a microphone on stage, and then realize maybe it was a little inappropriate or something.
Oh yeah, I still do that. I feel like, the pandemic was really like where people saw that to the next level, to the extreme, because I was doing, Instagram and Facebook lives, and I didn't have a band playing around me to kind of drown out when I would just kind of go off on a tangent and just talk. So like this past year, people really got to look into the things that I say on stage that they can't quite hear. Yeah. But yeah, I have a tendency to do that.
You still got it.
Oh yeah, still there.
Let's try to get the sadder stuff out of the way, talking about pandemic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're close to a year now.
Yeah.
So how much do you love sweatpants?
Oh, more than anything. More than anything.
Is it jammies and sweatpants until you have to actually leave and go do something?
Pretty much. At the beginning of the pandemic, I really embraced that, and I looked homeless most of the time. And then I realized putting jeans on made me feel better. So I wear pretty comfortable jeans. So I've been wearing jeans for a while now, just in the house, just to make me feel a little better about myself. Yeah. But right now I'm wearing leggings because that's as far as I was willing to go today.
It's compromise.
Some days you want to try harder than others.
We all appreciate it.
Yeah. 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 You're welcome.
What about online shopping?
I really didn't do much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Amazon Fresh, I get groceries from that a lot of the time. And then trash bags or whatever things we need, we get from Amazon, so that kind of online shopping. But I have really, I mean, I've been like tempted to buy clothes, and I've just been like, where am I wearing this stuff? You know, so I just have kind of probably saved a lot of money this. Oh well, no, that's not true. I should have been making money, and I didn't. So to shop would have been.
They make it easy. They make it easy to just
I know.
Click. Next thing you know, it's and fast too.
I know. Were you splurging this year?
I spent money I shouldn't have spent, thinking that we were going back to work.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
That was the thing is, and then when I realized, when I really realized that we weren't going anywhere, that's when he came into the picture.
Oh, how did you find him?
I was thinking about a companion because it was so isolating.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was trying to talk myself out of it, saying we're going to go back to work. I have no business with a dog.
Yeah.
And I went and looked at a couple of dogs. I went and saw a couple of dogs.
Yeah.
I talked myself out of it. They were too hyper. It was just too much.
Mm.
I was kind of giving up, and then I saw an ad, a Craigslist ad for a lady that said she found this dog out in the middle of nowhere. She had to shave him down because he was all matted.
Oh.
And so he obviously hadn't been taken care of. And I went and met him. She had a 4-year-old boy, and she had a Great Dane in her house.
Ooh.
And so I just went in and I sat on the floor and just kind of let him play with everybody and see how he did with kids, with the other dog. And he's just was very lost. He was happy to be with people, but he's very lost, and he probably hadn't been indoors very much either. He still doesn't like slick floors. That's why I have that carpet there, because he can't stand that he can't get grip.
Oh, wow.
Which is both good and bad, because in my house, I keep carpets strategic on the hardwood floor, so he doesn't go to the kitchen. He stands on the edge of these things like they're islands.
Oh, great. Keep him out of the kitchen.
Exactly,
that's wonderful.
Exactly. But anyway, I couldn't leave him.
Yeah.
I couldn't leave him. And I was still, one of those things when I was driving home with him, I was just like, what am I doing?
No, I mean, I so many people did what you did. Like Lindsay got a dog.
Oh yeah.
She got a puppy, and I just think if you're gonna get a dog, I mean, you did it at the perfect time, because you had the time to train him and make him your dog, and now, and then I don't know, like I can't imagine anybody not wanting him on the road.
Oh, that's the thing. Well, and so coming up with all this stuff is like, how do I get back to traveling and make sure he can come with me?
Yeah, and he's getting used to the bus now, so it's great.
Totally loves it.
He's so sweet.
He wants me to open the window for him, but that's not going to happen right now.
That wouldn't be good for the sound buddy.
Just a little more of the sadder things that have happened. Right before the pandemic, we had a big tornado, which came near you.
Really close. It was like probably half a mile away, and I heard it. I hadn't heard the sirens until this new place we're in, because we're closer to the siren place, and I didn't have the news on or anything. I was like, and everybody says that those sirens go off all the time, and it's like, doesn't mean anything. I didn't take cover. Our house is pretty full, like it's a lot of windows, so God forbid it came over to us, it would have been bad. But I think I was on FaceTime with Sam, because he was in LA at that time, and I was like, it sounds really bad out there, and he was like, maybe check the news or something. And I looked at the news, and it had ripped through East Nashville, and it wrecked us, because that's such a and it went to Mount Juliet and everything, and I don't spend much time there, so obviously it was sad to see, but as a East Nashville resident, it was really sad, and to see it rip through Basement East, where I've had so many, you and I have had so many shows there that meant so much. And the next morning I woke up and I walked to the places that needed help, and it was like it was like a war zone. So start kicking off the pandemic. It was before the pandemic even really started.
Right. Well, it was shortly after, and I got home thinking I was going to come down and pitch in. Everybody was pitching in and helping out and that sort of thing. And that's when everything shut down. Yeah. And so a lot of those people are still...
There's still tarp on roofs and stuff. Yeah.
Still dealing with that, because it just kind of, all the help had to go away.
Yeah, totally.
And we just seemed to kind of keep getting it here. So we got on Christmas Day, You actually, somebody texted me because of what you tweeted. Your tweet became famous.
I didn't realize it did until the next day, and people were like, "Yeah, I saw what you posted on Fox News and stuff." I was like, "What?" Yeah, our house shook. Did you feel it?
I didn't. I woke up at that time, and I'm wondering if that woke me up because
I bet it did.
Somebody told me, I'm south of here, and they told me they felt it down there.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Christmas Day bombing in Nashville, which we'll go close to there, but obviously that's still blocked off.
Yeah.
But you felt it. You were near it. It was like 6 a.m, something like that.
Yeah.
Still huge recovery there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was intense. I have an AT&T, so I lost my service after the battery ran out for the generator here downtown, and then we have AT&T Wi-Fi. So I had no Wi-Fi, no service for like 3 days. Yeah. So I couldn't talk to any of my family, my immediate family are here. So I saw them, which was good, but all my friends in different states and stuff were trying to text me and be like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And it was bizarre.
There was a lot of that. I have AT&T Uverse TV, so there was no TV for a couple of days, and the internet was kind of working, but it was very slow.
Yeah, like kind of spotty. You were like, "Ooh, it's on! Ah, damn it, it's back off."
Yeah.
It's like teasing.
So let's talk about the best parts of, this is challenging for everybody in the music industry.
Yeah.
Artists and musicians have very few options to play in front of people and stay present and stay visible and that sort of thing. But I think that you have done a good job. You've stayed busy in the face of all of this. So some of the things you've got to do, you got to do a drive-in concert?
Yes.
Did you do more than one, or is it just the one?
Just the one, Daddy's Dogs. And the best part about it was to benefit Music Cares. And so a few musicians and I did a couple of songs acoustic, and it was the first time I had played a show since the pandemic. So it was bizarre, and people were honking instead of clapping. It was just like, okay, this is a new normal thing. Yeah. So that was cool.
But it's a huge difference in the way it feels.
Yeah.
For the audience and for you, and the thing that I like to talk about is that while it's, gets us by, it doesn't. It's not an answer.
No.
It doesn't. The numbers don't add up. You can't get as many people in there. You can't pay everybody. That's the thing.
No.
So
it's definitely not something that I could do feasibly, just by myself. Or even traveling to do a drive-in show would be a complete loss. You would be in the red.
Yeah, exactly. So. It just costs so much money,
yeah.
including a lot of the streaming things. That's something that everybody's doing is doing streaming things. It's one way to stay visible, but most of the time, it's not really making you any money. It's costing you money.
I know.
So that's a tough thing. So that was acoustic. Then I know that you got to do a thing at the City Winery, which was in front of people.
Yeah, that was so fun. Sam, my boyfriend,
Palladio,
and I, Sam Palladio, I should say.
Yes.
We're downtown. How weird. Sorry, it's just been so long since I've been downtown.
Yeah.
He and I went to see his friend play at City Winery, and they did such a good job of social distancing and making it feel cozy but still really safe, that we actually talked to the promoter and we're like, hey, if you have any open dates, we'd love to, like, all of our friends are musicians that we've been seeing, so we don't even have to like have any new exposure. We could just hang with friends and practice. And so he got back to us and was like, let's do it. And so he and I did a co-headliner. The guys that he's been recording his music with through the pandemic he's got a keyboardist / singer, he's got a bass player, he's got a drummer, and 2 insane guitar players from the band Striking Matches.
Oh, wow.
And so we were like, we have a band, it's great, like that we've been hanging with all pandemic. So we just got together and rehearsed at Claire Brothers for one day.
Nice.
And then did the show, and it sold out, and we got what was I think it was called Mandolin. Yeah, the streaming service to open it up to people being able to buy tickets online and stuff. And it was really successful for us. But and it was really fun to have a crowd to actually interact with. And even though they were super far away, it was still really fulfilling. But yeah, it was interesting because if we tried to do that any other place and tried to travel to do it, even that. We made some money, but even that would have been hard to pull off anywhere else, you know.
And that was it was a tent.
Yeah, it was a tent.
Out in the parking lot or something.
Yeah, they created an outdoor space to where they could have shows and have it still be outside. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I mean, every opportunity like that to get in front of real people.
Yeah.
We're passing second right now. All that stuff is blocked off.
Yeah, the freaking windows are boarded. Yeah. It's so messed up.
So sad.
I know. The city really has taken some hits this past year.
Okay, so staying busy last year, your online virtual presence and things like that. So you did, with Rise and Shine, you did a video for all your tracks and released those a couple at a time, and you did some record releases.
Yeah. Yeah, CMT were so helpful. They agreed to premiere the videos. So every 2 weeks they premiered another video of mine, and it was great because it kind of took me through the end of the year with like content that I had backlogged. So I shot all the videos in like 2 days and gave it all to CMT, and they helped me roll it out. So that was really nice.
That's awesome. Well, that's kept you active and busy and in front of the camera and online, and going back a little bit, you got to do Wine Down Wednesday. Was that a
Wine with Cass?
Oh, okay. Was that a one-time thing?
No, I did it for like 9 weeks.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, a series.
Yeah, it was every Thursday, and I did simultaneously Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and I would do like half-hour acoustic sets in the living room, and Sam would come in and sing a song or two, and the dogs would like be jumping on my lap during, and it was just like, it was all I could do at that time. It was like in the thick of the pandemic. So
very, very smart. You got to play with a band called Leaving Austin.
Yeah.
How did you connect with those guys?
So 2019, it was the BMG Christmas party, and because I'm on BMG Publishing, and so are they. So I had met them a few times. We had done a few shows with them in the past, and they were telling me about a song that they thought I would sound great on, or that they wanted me to sing on, and so they sent it to me like a couple of days later, and I just he's getting all excited. It's okay, Leon. He's like, your story's freaking me out. Your story's intense.
All right, come on, get up here. Come on.
Oh, good boy. Does he get like, is he nervous?
He just wants to, if he catches a smell or something, he just wants to get out and play.
His tail's wagging, so that's good.
Yeah, he sees or smells something, like especially with the window open when I'm driving around in my truck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he'll start barking. We go to the dog park. We're driving to the dog park. He sticks his head out. He's like shouting, like yelling at cars in traffic. He can smell it, and when we get there, he's just like, "Hey, everybody, I'm here."
He's like, "Hey!"
He's so excited.
Oh, he's so cute.
Sorry.
So I listened to the song that they sent me, and I was like, "God, this sounds like a hit. I just love this song," and I agreed to do it. We recorded it at the beginning of 2020. And then everything happened, and I was like, "Are you guys still releasing this?" And they went ahead and released it. We did a music video where I had, as you know, my old drummer Tom.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
and his wife Emily.
I didn't know about it until I saw it, and first I saw Emily, and I said, "That looks like Emily."
Yeah.
I didn't think it was her.
Yeah.
And I saw Tom. I guess it is.
Yeah. They asked me if I knew of any couples that are actors that would do a music video. I was like, well, they're not actors, but they're both really good looking, and they've done a music video in the past, and I think that they would be down to do it, and they killed it. They have natural chemistry, so it was great. And so we shot that video, and it did really well streaming, and it was kind of their first big push for a song. Like, I had their first Today Show performance that I got to be a part of with them.
I saw that. Where did y'all do that?
We did it somewhere in Franklin. I think it was like a wedding venue that was like a beautiful barn that they kind of just, 44 Designs, this production company, that's how I got introduced to them. They did the set and the audio and everything for that shoot, and I actually ended up using them for the Rise and Shine videos.
Oh, very
so
cool.
that's kind of how that transpired. But
Awesome.
yeah, I was like, you guys are lucky your first Today Show experience is at, noon. You get to pre-record it. You get to mix it yourself. Like, you guys suck.
You don't have to be there at 3 a.m. to set up. And
I don't miss those early mornings.
hey, what are you doing?
Leon, you can't get out there. The window's closed.
I don't know what he doesn't usually normally get that.
Here, have
excited.
a sip of a mimosa. Chill out.
Let's see. So when you recorded the video for Leaving Austin, American Avenue is the song, right?
Yes.
Was that before the pandemic when you got to do?
No, it was during.
Okay.
And they had been in Franklin at their manager has an amazing basically ranch, and they've been really safe, not going anywhere, because I was still sketched out. I was like, I don't know if we should be doing a video, but they reassured me, and I was like, I'm really gonna trust you guys here. And we I wore a mask anytime I wasn't on camera, and we social distanced when we weren't filming, and it was outside. That was a big selling point for me. So
for sure.
yeah.
CMT Summer Staycay.
Yes.
Was that in front of people, or was
no.
it just okay?
That was filmed at the Dive Motel in I think Charlotte. On Charlotte. Sorry. But it was really fun. Everybody again were socially distanced. It was shot outside. They deliberately didn't have extras to be around the pool because that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And it was really nice to work, to be on camera again, and then to be able to do it with Lindsay L. and Lauren Elena, friends of mine. It just felt like, oh my gosh, we're back to doing something. It was a dose of normalcy for us, and it was really life-giving in that moment. So I'm really glad I got to do that.
Any of
That was
those
special.
real performances at this time, it's got to feel great.
Yeah, totally.
So let's talk about Rise and Shine.
Mm-hmm.
You went with a different producer. How did you select Tom?
Well, I actually went through Corey Crowder, my old producer,
Right.
and I talked to him about what I wanted to do. I was like, I just want to do an acoustic record that sounds like an emo country, record. And he's been doing so much with Florida Georgia Line and just swamped with all of that. And it was in the thick of the pandemic where his kids weren't in school. He had a lot on his plate, and he was like, I feel like Todd Lombardo would be great for this, so I'll connect you guys. And Todd had played on Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves. He did the acoustics and everything on that record, so he's like, if anyone knows how to do that, it's him. And he connected us. I hopped on the phone with him, and I was like, if we could do this safely, where I send you the demos of the songs I want to do. You can cut the guitar. I'll tell you the kind of vibe. You cut the guitars in your studio, because he had a studio to do it in, and then maybe we can book a couple of days at a studio, and you and I just do the vocals. And he was so perfect for this record. He knew exactly where I wanted to go with it. I would send him references, and we FaceTimed and did pre-production, and he was showing me ideas of how he wanted the songs to sound. So he started sending me the actual guitar tracks, and I would be like, maybe fix this or whatever, but it all turned out amazing.
That's great.
We went to Blackbird to cut the vocals. We just did 2 days of vocals, and I just got all the leads and the harmonies done. And and
did you do all your own backing?
Yes, I did all my own vocals and harmonies, and it was my first project writing, since Hey Monday, writing everything, and then also co-producing, because it was I was pretty specific about where I wanted to go with things, and I had ideas on, the melodies of the guitars and stuff, so it felt very involved. So
so it's all acoustic, and do you think you would have done that without a pandemic? Do you think you would have done that anyway? Okay.
No,
Okay.
definitely
so that was
not.
definitely helped you do that?
Yeah.
So when you go back to playing live, will you turn some of these into full band performances?
I think so, because the demos all were full band,
okay.
and I just took them and made them acoustic, and was, there were songs that were like on the chopping block because they didn't translate well acoustic, and these songs that I chose, these 8, were like, okay, I could see these being good acoustic, but like specific songs like Hoodie or Hangover, those songs I think could really do well with a full band.
Yeah.
So.
And so Hangover was a Hey Monday song.
Yes.
Done differently. And I saw when you played, we'll talk about, you got to play Hey Monday reunion show. We'll talk about that. But you talked about possibly doing Candles as a country tune, something like that.
Yeah, everybody, when I did my first country radio tour, I don't know if you remember this. We were on the Rascal Flatts stuff together, but I don't know how many radio things you came to.
You had already started that.
Yeah.
We met up at Rascal
We met
Flatts,
up at but there were a few program directors who came from the rock world, and they brought up Candles, and they were like, you should recut Candles and make that a country song. And it was so funny because I was like, are you sure would you actually play that? But I also I can't get past the lyrics. Like, I am so proud of that song. It did so much for us as a band, but I wrote those lyrics when I was like 17, and they are cringeworthy to me. So the only song that I, like, Hey Monday wise, that I felt comfortable actually recutting was Hangover, because I did that with Butch Walker, and I was like 20 when I wrote it, so it was a little better of a lyric, and it translated better.
Different time in your life, but going back to this record though, you had co-produced to some degree before in your other stuff.
Yeah.
But you wrote everything on this one and opened up more and more every time. It seems like you. I mean, there's not. I mean, you're pretty sharing. You're pretty. Yeah. You're there's not much that you're not willing to share.
Yeah.
And so on this, the lyrics definitely are more open.
Yeah.
As we go along here.
Yeah. Well, that's just been really important to me since I've sort of been, and you've seen the progression of like my mental health journey, and with therapy and with reading books, and just like you saw when I like completely did a purge of my personal life and my career and rebuilt, and since I've done that, I've found it to be really important to share my process and just everything that involved and entailed, and since I've started opening up about it, specifically on the song Built This House on that record, I've gotten so many people that have been like, I literally am going through that right now, and it's really nice to hear a song about being on the other side of it, and I'm really hopeful that me making these changes that are really painful and hard to sit in, it's nice to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So like, those are the things that keep me sharing, you know?
In everything that's going on now, everybody's really challenged, and so that spoke to a lot of people. Rise and Shine, I really liked the video you did with your fans contributing their stories.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that sifting through those videos or those selfies and everything, the pictures that they sent was so moving and so hard to see what people have endured and had to move past, and it puts things into perspective. But it was really it kind of caught me off guard and made me emotional at the shoot. There was a girl that held a sign about how she almost drowned and died. It was the director's daughter of the videos, and he was like, that's actually my daughter. I was like, what? Man. And I was like, I don't know what to say. I'm so honored that you shared that with me. And it's just you look around and you don't know who's gone through what, and you just don't know what hardships. You have no idea. And I had this guy standing next to me directing these videos, and it just like blew my mind. So it's just really important that we share.
When your fans sent in those videos and stories and stuff like that, did you have like way more than you could use?
Yeah, it was a lot. And we obviously, I had some that came in that I really had to try and cover. There were a lot of similar stories, so I had to kind of cut it down to like, okay, this has been said like 20 times. I'm gonna choose one that I feel strongest about. So I did have to not use a lot of things that people sent in, but I hope that if they saw a story similar, they knew that their voice was being heard through this person.
Gotcha. So on this record, when you get back in front of a live audience and you have a full band, what are the one or two that you are most excited to perform live?
I'm excited to perform Hoodie with a full band because the demo is it's got such a good vibe. It's very, I don't know, it reminds me of this band Bad Sons that I love, and it's such a great live song, full band wise. So I would love to play that live with a full band. I think also like Counting on the Weather, keeping that acoustic and having that be a moment and in the middle of the set where you kind of go to the acoustic part of the set. I would love to throw that in there and have that be an acoustic moment. And then Rise and Shine is always, I've played that a couple of times live and it's felt really powerful.
Sam got to sing on your record.
Yes.
Did he kind of pressure his way in while you were at home, just kind of keep singing in the background, make sure you heard him?
Yeah, I know. I think that he definitely wanted to sing on it. He didn't pressure me, thankfully, because that would have been a little awkward. But the song that he sang on, California Dreaming, is about someone from my past that really hurt me, and he knows the whole story. And it felt right to have the man that is making me happy, that I'm in love with, to sing on it, to kind of be like, I don't know, a beacon of hope in like a pretty sad song, so and I love his voice. He's just it's so blendy and nice, and then also to do a record that's really the product of a pandemic and put my pandemic partner, quarantine partner on it, just felt right.
Right. And for those that maybe don't know, he has his own singing career. He's an actor, and he's one of his biggest things was the Nashville TV show. So do you ever call him Gunner in the house? Do you ever just?
I mean, sometimes there's a pun that just comes out and I can't help it. But yeah, it's funny because the whole pandemic, he's been really focused on the music side, which has been really fun to see, and he's so talented, and he's never really been able to take time to just focus on music because he's always, Nashville just took all of his time. So it was cool to see and see him kind of, I don't know, take the form of a musician more so than an actor, and he's a natural. So I'm excited for people to hear what he's been working on. And
so does he pick up on your accent, or do you pick up on his accent? Neither.
I mean, no, that's not true. I don't pick up on his accent, but the way he says certain things, like I caught myself saying penalized yesterday. I'm like, I don't say penalized, I say penalized. And he was like, good, yeah, okay, yeah, you're getting it. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna start talking like you. That's weird. But we, more so than picking up on each other's accents, we've definitely picked up on each other's mannerisms. And I'll catch him like joking around, saying something in a way I would, and I'm like, oh, you're turning into me. That's hilarious,
He was gone for the first part of the pandemic, so you spent a lot of time alone, except for the dogs.
Yeah.
Was there what you said reminded me? It's like, did you learn, was there things that you became more observant about yourself in that sort of time?
I did. Yeah. I definitely realized how much self-worth I put into my career. If I'm not busy, I feel inadequate and not important. And if I'm not, on tour, I feel super ordinary and like I am not doing anything special.
Wow.
And I just I had to really sit back and be like, well, I'm a human before I'm an artist and a musician. So I need to see the beauty in that. And because I've done so much work on myself that I was like, come on, I should be able to work through this and not think this way about myself. But it's just a human feeling when you're
powerful. Yeah,
it's when you're used to getting affirmation from strangers all the time, and you don't have that all of a sudden. You're just like, well, I kind of suck, and then you gotta work through that. So I definitely did a lot of reading. I read a few books that helped me out, and listened to some podcasts and stuff, and just made sure I took time out of every day to reflect and be present for myself, and not always be on my phone, not always be watching Bravo, Housewives, and it helped a lot. But it definitely it got to a point where I was like, okay, I can't always lean on my career, and who would have thought a pandemic would come along where we would have to think that way.
Yeah.
But that's a silver lining for me.
Oh, for sure. Well, it was very revealing, I think, to a lot of people, but that's powerful stuff that you're able to observe.
Yeah.
So you got to sing with Sam several times, things like that. Do you ever go home and critique each other, get into little fights about it?
Oh God, no. We know better. He knows better to do that to me, and I know better than to do it to him. We respect each other so much that he's a perfectionist, I'm a perfectionist. I don't need him to tell me what I did wrong, and I don't need to tell him what he did wrong. You know what I mean?
But you could start something.
Yeah.
Be like, you're a little sharp in that chorus tonight.
Well, it's funny when I did vocals for Rise and Shine, and he came in to do California Dreaming, and he was there during some of the vocals for the other songs I did. He would joke around and be like, you might want to take that one again. It was pretty flat. But I know it's a joke. If he was serious,
right,
there'd be a problem.
That's what I'm saying. You should throw something at him and just be serious about
just
it.
Just to see what happens.
When you do, come home from one of those live things and say, you're kind of on my note.
Yeah. you were in unison with me. You should have been harmonizing. Yeah, exactly. We're going to need to work on that.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of say it off the cuff and be real serious and go off to the next room.
Could you imagine? He would probably cry. We're both so, we're each other's champions. We cheer each other on, and we're so not like that. So he'd probably
cool.
What?
Be caught off guard.
Yeah.
Just put a little secret camera and do one of those and walk out of the room.
Like the videos where they leave the candy with the kids and see if they take it.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Kimmel.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're okay.
Halloween, we ate all your candy?
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Oh, that's a different one?
Yeah, well, they were people will leave a bowl of candy, and they're like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and when I come back, you can have some, but don't take any when I go to the bathroom. And just the reactions of these kids, it's like an addict, I don't know, they see something that they want so bad, and they're itching, they want it so bad, and sometimes they just take the candy, and some are just they know how difficult it is to not take the candy.
The mental part of it.
I know, it's so cute.
We're passing the Bluebird.
Bluebird.
Have you been in there? Probably not in a while, huh?
Not in a while. I think I did. That was one of the last in-person shows with a crowd that I did I think it was in February. It was with ASCAP. But yeah, and then I went to Sundance and did an acoustic show during Sundance in Salt Lake City. So that was really
nice.
Fun, but that was in the end of February, so that was close.
Did you see any cool movies that maybe haven't come out yet?
No, I didn't actually go to the actual festival. They had us at the resort. It might not even have been right during it. I think it was right before or after, but it was some corporate event thing that I played with JT Harding, and so it was fun. But it was one of the last things I did, and it was with Bluebird. So.
And it's beautiful out there.
It's so pretty. It was Robert Redford's.
Okay.
It was Robert Redford's resort.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I was it's an actor's resort, and he's there, and he was people saw him at the restaurant and stuff. I never saw him, but yeah, that was cool.
Very cool. So you've gotten to tell a lot of your history. So hopefully, if we talk about some of that stuff, maybe we reveal some things that maybe you haven't talked about as much.
Totally.
But before that, what do you think you would have done if you hadn't decided to be a singer?
Oh, I don't know, because in high school, I took a year of zoology, and I really loved learning about animals, and I thought that I would maybe fall back on that, but I don't know in which way, like a vet or a trainer or just a zoologist. Like I didn't realize what I was really even studying for. But to be honest, like it would be hard for me. I can't imagine not doing something that has something to do with entertainment. Like I'm not an actress, but if I didn't sing, I'd probably do that because I like to entertain.
Right.
So maybe that.
But so early on, it seemed like, and you even basically your senior year, I mean, you were already singing. It just seemed like this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You just kind of made that decision, and you weren't really looking for anything to fall back on. It was just like,
no,
this is a job, is a legitimate job. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I had been playing shows that I was getting paid for since I was like 11. Like I was doing the VIP section of a amphitheater show. I remember I played like the VIP section for a Tori Amos show, and I got like $50, and I was so excited.
Yeah.
So from an early age, I was exposed to how you can make it a living, and so I just never really questioned it. I mean, I started singing when I was 4, so I knew I loved it from a really young age, and I don't remember ever thinking there was another option. Right. So I just never really thought about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Now I remember that your sister Ashley, I think she mentioned to me before that she was doing pageants.
Yes.
And you weren't really interested at first.
Yep. I avoided those ballrooms like the plague. I was like, ugh. I was a tomboy, and I was just running around climbing on top of things, and like I was just like kind of a crazy little girl. And then my mom loves to tell this story. Ash won a pageant, and I walked up to the stage and hugged her, and everyone, like, the room fell silent because everybody knew I didn't like attention. I got mad when people were like, "Oh, you're so cute, what's your name?" I'd be like, "No, stop looking at me." So the fact that I got in front of all these people and gave Ash a hug was like kind of like a turning point. And then all of a sudden I wanted to start performing and doing pageants. Yeah. And I do owe pageants a lot. It was really the Toddlers and Tiaras really like soiled the reputation of pageants.
Yeah.
I didn't do those kinds of pageants.
Yeah.
They were really great, and we traveled to Texas, and we came to Tennessee, to Gatlinburg, and all these great cities, and it was crazy. I mean, I would win these pageants where you won money, and I won mainly because of the talent portion I got to sing.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was, and then just meeting people at a young age and talking, and they had an interview portion of the pageant where you get interviewed by the judges, and not alone, obviously. It was not like that. Yeah. And from a young age, I was learning how to socialize. It was
media training from an early age.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, like I said in the beginning, mentally tough. I think a lot of that, since you started so early, has helped you through all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of this stuff coming along.
Yeah, for sure.
So on that side of Florida, West Palm Beach area and that sort of thing, where did you go see shows and concerts and did you connect with when you went to see concerts and things like that?
Yeah, I remember, I forget how I met them, but I had these 2 managers that I told you about. It didn't end well, but it was pretty bad. But I think I sang. My voice coach would have all of her students go to a fair or a little festival or something, and we would all kind of she would showcase her students, and we would go up and sing a song or two. And I remember these 2 managers, they weren't managers at the time, but they saw me and wanted to be involved, and they worked for Radio Disney, so they would put on shows for Radio Disney, and they started having me come out and sing at them. So that kind of was the start of me getting shows. And then when I became a teenager and interested in the rock scene in West Palm Beach, it was really because I met a boy who ended up being my first real boyfriend in high school. He would bring me to these shows, these rock shows, and it was like local bands. Every weekend they would play the same set. It was the same crowd, and they were great venues that were just these holes in the wall, and it was just like, it just felt like such a camaraderie kind of environment. And I would look up on the stage and I would see these guys, mostly guys, playing together, and it looked like they were having so much fun, and I just wanted to do that. I wanted to be in bands, so I started to hop up with friends that had bands, or my managers at the time would try and help me form a band with like players that they would find online in town, and they were, these like 30-year-olds playing with like a little 15-year-old girl. So I went through a lot of musicians because obviously they didn't take me seriously. But yeah, that was kind of how I got into that scene, and I loved it so much.
And I remember you telling me about going to see the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, that was... I feel bad telling the story because my mom makes my mom sound like a terrible mother, but she just was trying to beat the traffic, and we left the show before they played I Want It That Way, and I heard I Want It That Way as reverberating through the corridors as we were leaving, and I was bawling. Like, I remember getting a migraine that night because I was crying so hard. And my
missing
mom
the highlight of the show.
Could never live that down. I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom, that was pretty awful. Remember it like it was yesterday.
So before you got out of high school, one of the other things too is that you did some High School Musical stuff.
Yes, I loved being in musicals. I mean, it was really in middle school where I did a lot of the actual theater stuff. We had a really great theater program in my middle school. We had a pretty creative class, so we loved doing shows and theater and stuff. And then I auditioned for a part in Phantom of the Opera at an actual playhouse in West Palm Beach, and they were like, we don't really have a part for you, but we want you to be a part of it. So we're gonna do a flashback scene of when Christine was a little girl, and you could play Christine when she was a little girl. Oh, wow. And I remember being so excited because my mom always loved soap operas, and I think it was The Young and the Restless. This guy Jeff Trachta, I remember his name. He was one of the leads of Young and the Restless in the past, and he came to West Palm Beach to be the Phantom, and I got to act with him in this flashback scene, and I at the time played violin. Like, I took violin for like 4 years. Okay. And they wanted me to play violin even. So during this flashback, it's really sad. Like, my dad dies in the scene, and I have his violin, and I'm playing the violin as he's dying. It's so freaking sad, actually. And I remember hearing sniffles in the crowd and knowing, okay, yeah, that's good. But I was probably I want to say I was in like 5th grade, and I was doing like 8 shows a week, and it was really exhausting. And I remember getting home at like 11 p.m., washing the dye out of my hair, and getting up at like 5 a.m. the next morning for school. So that was probably the most rigorous, like most closest to professional musical that I have ever been a part of.
Grease?
Yeah. That was awesome.
You were Sandy?
I was Sandy.
Oh, very cool.
It was a hard decision to not do the Australian accent, but I knew I couldn't pull it off. I was like, I'm a kid. Who do I think I am?
And then your first band was called Blake?
Yeah.
Was that going by your middle name?
Middle name, yeah. I didn't...
Stage name?
Yeah, it was like, I went through so many band names, and they all were terrible, and I was like, you know what, Blake's kind of a cool name for a band. So and the one of the members, Mike Gentile, then came with me to Hey Monday. So he and I were like the original members of Blake that ended up going to Hey Monday, and then the rest of the guys weren't. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk a little Hey Monday history. I saw in Hey Monday you did a thing called Silent Library.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That was so fun.
You did one of the funniest things was the pump walk that you did with those pants.
Oh, it was ridiculous. I was like, why are you making the girl do this? Like, why couldn't the guys wear the balloon butt pants? Why did I?
I know, that's a little... I don't know if you get away with that now.
No, I don't think they could. That was so funny. And they said, like, they told us, obviously try your hardest to be silent, but if you scream or laugh or whatever, it is funny. So if you have the urge, definitely just let it out. And so I kind of like fed into that a little bit, but I had to comb a man's hair that looked like really coarse
like a
with
comb over thing.
A comb in my mouth, and had to comb it with my mouth. It was disgusting. I was like, is this sanitary? Like, this isn't sanitary. If I get sick from this, I don't know. It was like so bizarre. The things that they did, I was like, is this legal, what you're doing?
Unbelievable.
But it was funny. I mean, it was an MTV thing that I was a fan of. So I was like, wow, we get to do Silent Library? That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 parts, 3 or 4 segments of it. It was pretty long.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
So you've had like a lot of people from your area and your school and people you grew up with, a lot of people that you were around have all kind of moved on to some successful careers. Even your best friend Allie.
Yeah, Allie, which you've met.
Yeah.
She's I just love her so much, and it's the kind of friend that you know could not talk to for months, and then you see or hang, and you're like, no time has passed. But she is a very successful pop writer in LA, Allie Tamposi, and she has like a Spotify playlist now of all the hits she's written. Like, and it's just insane. She's won Songwriter of the Year awards, and she's like a few months younger than I am. She's 31, and I'm just so proud of her. And then she same class in middle school. And then there's also an Olympian soccer player, Melissa Ortiz, who I think she plays on the Colombian soccer team. But she's played soccer since I can remember. So she was in my class as well. Who else is doing some awesome stuff? I mean, everyone is really killing it. Yeah.
Was there some other guys, like pretty early on you connected with like the Fall Out Boy guys and
yeah.
Are they from that area?
No, they I think we met, well, it was kind of by chance. Our Blake, our demo from Blake was playing in our new manager's office. He worked out of Crush Management, which is the management that does Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco and all these Sia, and Pete Wentz was in the office and heard the demo, and that's how he was like, I want to be a part of this. So Columbia Records was already going to sign us, and he kind of got in there and was like, can I do a joint venture? I'll be the word of mouth guy. I'll be, take them on tour and stuff. So that was how we got introduced. And then I remember doing this most awkward showcase for Pete, and it was when he was still with Ashley Simpson. And it was in Miami. They were going to be in Miami for like a New Year's Eve thing. And so we drove down. It was only an hour from West Palm. And we played a showcase, just like the band, in a basically rehearsal room for them. And we had to like perform. Like, I had to perform like there was a crowd.
Oh, wow.
It was the most awkward thing. If someone asked me to do that now, I'd be like, no, you can come to a show.
Yeah,
like, that's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
But it worked, and yeah, he signed us.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit. So when you decided you were going to move to LA and pursue your solo thing,
yeah,
you were offered an opportunity for The Voice that you turned down.
Yeah.
You were still kind of going to stick to your guns on doing your solo thing?
I was still doing Hey Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they came to me when I was, when Hey Monday was kind of in a hairy situation with the label. Like, they had already asked if I would go solo, and I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. And then our A&R left, and we got a new label president, and it was kind of in shambles, but I still was like, we have this EP that I want to put out, and I'm really proud of, so I passed on the Voice season 2 offer.
Okay, so then after that is when you decided to pursue a solo thing.
Yes.
And what that period there, was that pretty challenging?
It was awful. It was terrible. I drove my little Nissan Altima, not Altima, that's a nicer one. I had a Nissan Versa, and the level below. And my mom and I drove straight through from West Palm Beach to LA, and I stayed with Allie for like a week in her old apartment, and then we found a house that we moved into, like a little cabin, and rented that. And then I pursued a solo thing where, well, it was really hard because I was kind of promised by this A&R, big A&R, that if I moved, I just need to move it to LA and he'll set me up with songwriters and blah, blah. And then he just never returned any of my calls or emails. So that was hard. But I was also broke. We did not make much money in Hey Monday, and whatever we made went right into the band. And then, we had we were in the hole with the label, as the story goes. So that was really difficult. Allie was doing well, so she was like, I'll just pay rent. It's fine. And then I did an EP that I wanted to go on tour with, so I did an acoustic tour, and I actually brought out Justin Long, Justin Long's an actor. Justin Young, who played with Colby Calais for a long time, and I remember a show in Bakersfield where 5 people came. It was brutal. And I was like, why did I leave the band again? And it was pretty awful, and it was really challenging, discouraging,
and trying to figure out, why did I do this? And
and where do I begin? That was the thing that I was like, when you go from playing sold out, arenas, to playing to 5 people in Bakersfield, you're like, okay, so I have to change my way of thinking now to being an artist this small, and it was really hard for me to like figure out, how do I even do that? And going out on the road, I thought was like, okay, well, I'm doing that, so we'll see where it goes. But then the voice came back, and we're like, do you want to do this season? And I was like, honestly, I need this. Okay, I'll do it.
Well, everybody knows what happened there. You've talked about that story a lot, and I know that was challenging, but when you're looking back at playing to 4 or 5 people, you're probably like, I can make it through this.
Yeah, honestly, playing to 5 people in Bakersfield was a lot easier than doing the voice. It was really hard. It was nerve-wracking and scary and all of that stuff.
It makes you question everything, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So getting past that, you come to Nashville with a record deal. I don't know that it's talked about as much, that when you're a new artist and you have a record deal like that, doing radio tour and stuff like that, the brutal schedule that is.
It was, and you saw me on the weekends when I was depleted, and like, my first tour ever as a country artist was with the Rascal Flatts, which was amazing, but it would be after a week of this rigorous country radio tour, and I would literally be sleeping during the day because I was like, I need to like get sleep when I can. But the radio tour, they basically were like, we could stretch it over like a 6-month period where you're not doing that many stations, or we can like really condense it to like 3 months, like with really hard schedule. And I wanted to just like get through it and start as soon as I could, and B, I wanted to like look really cool to the label, and wow, she's a badass, so I was like, I'm gonna do the condensed version, let's go. And it was awful. And I had to like, when I went back to these stations, eventually I had to be like, look, if I was like out of it and I wasn't making sense, or I yawned during our interview, I'm going to explain to you what my life was like, and I just want to apologize. Like, I had to really kind of go back and reintroduce myself, because I was a zombie,
Well, you handled it well, and so what happened was, you were doing weeks of this before the tour started. One of the stories that I was going to talk about is that basically the rest of the band and myself, we met you on day 1 of the tour. Rehearsed at sound check for the day 1 show of, probably a good 10 or 15,000 people at that show.
I know.
And so on that tour, you would do 3 or 4 stations a day during the week. And then you would also do radio station visits throughout the tour on the day of show. So you would do morning shows, you would do phone interviews, you'd come to the venue and do sound check. Then we had private meet and greets where you would perform.
Yes.
And then you would do regular meet and greets, fans and things like that. Then you would do the show. The show was probably the easiest part of the day.
It was the easiest part.
And then you would go and do anything else. There might be an interview, something after the show. And then we do autographs for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So your voice is literally just going.
Beat.
For, forever. And I was actually concerned a few weeks into it because it was pretty nonstop.
Yeah.
Because the days that during the week that I wouldn't see you, were still doing all that stuff, and then coming to the shows. And
yeah.
So it is. You handled it well. You handled it well. You never missed a show at that time. In that time, I only remember 2 shows that you ever missed while I was around. Do you remember?
It was the oysters. We decided to have oysters in, was it Dallas?
Dallas, yeah.
At Papados or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
They were so good. I was so excited because I had tried oysters so many times, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm an adult eating oysters and I like them. I'm so excited. So I had like 6. And then Steve Feckety, my guitar player at the time, had like 2 or 3. Yeah. And then we had a show in Kansas City.
Yeah, but we flew to LA first to do the Leno show. Leno Tonight Show.
Was that before the show that I had to cancel?
Yes.
Oh. But I lived in LA still.
You lived in LA, so you came in just in time to do the camera blocking.
Yeah.
Did the show and immediately were sick afterwards.
Yeah. It was awful. And then and then we had the Kansas City show, like a holiday show, and I was like, I can't even lay in my bed for 10 minutes without needing to get up. Like, I can't sit on a flight. Yeah. I couldn't. And that was the first show I canceled, I think, that year. Yeah. Which was like the craziest year of shows.
Yeah, it was the only one that I know of band-wise that you couldn't show up for, and you couldn't get on a plane. It was, and you barely made it through national TV. And this was
one song.
It was still Leno. It was a Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And you were, even that morning, I think, was still iffy.
Yeah. Getting through that one song, I was fatigued. I had nothing in my system. Yeah. I was still just so sick, and I was like, but I can't cancel Leno. Like, and it also was a drive away. I wasn't getting on a plane. It wasn't a whole set. So I was like, even if I need to like get a bucket side stage, which I think I had like a trash can side stage. Just in case.
We were ready.
Yeah. It's gross.
And then there was one other time when you had a throat issue and we were doing an acoustic radio thing.
Oh my God. Okay, so
that Eli Young band.
I was really upset because I pride myself in taking care of my voice and warming up, cooling down, all that stuff. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't I don't abuse my throat. And I had the single I Am Invincible that I recorded way higher than I should have, and I was trying to sing this song because it was my single. I was singing this song over and over and over, and in the key in which I recorded it, which was way too high. And I woke up one morning, I went to say something to myself in my hotel room or something, and I couldn't speak. And I was like, oh my God, I've never lost my voice like that in my life. Yeah. I was probably 25 at the time. Yeah. And it was the most horrifying thing. And it was during a radio tour. And I know that's like, to cancel a radio show.
It was live in front of a live audience. And it was a pretty big crowd.
They brought me up. They brought me up to like, basically, they didn't want me to prove that I didn't have a voice, but I was like, I would like to go up and just so they can hear. Yeah. And it was like, I was like whispering into the mic, and people were like, there was like a unanimous, oh, because I sounded so pitiful.
But that was the only 2 times that I can think of, and they were legitimate. It wasn't like you were, I'm just too tired or anything like that.
No, I don't think I've ever canceled a show since then.
No, not that I know of. Hey Monday has always just sort of been on hiatus and not officially broken up. And then you got to do a reunion date at the end of 2019. Yeah. Sold out show in Nashville, of all places. Yeah. Pretty cool.
It was like the weirdest night because it was so fun, but it was probably 11 years since our first record, and I'm on stage with 2 of the original members of the band. I used the rest of the band. I used my touring musicians, and just looking to my left and right and seeing these guys that haven't aged. We're playing songs from 11 years ago, and there's a crowd in front of us that are our age and some younger. that are singing every word. And it was like I was transported to when I was 18 years old. And it was the coolest, most surreal, most weird feeling in the world. And then that night in general was really special because I turned it into like a pop punk night, and I had my touring band learn songs from other singers that were willing to come up and sing. So I had the singer of The Bigger Lights, the Audition, the guys from Lit came up, and then Nick Wheeler, who plays guitar and is like one of the main writers of All American Rejects, came up, and I sang a couple All American Rejects songs. The lead singer from May came up. There's a few I'm probably missing, but it was like a night of like nostalgia. And the dudes from Dan and Shay's band had a band called Brighton, and they came up and sang. Oh, cool. And it was, and we were all backstage like talking about, you know, this guy has kids now, and this guy's like a real estate agent, and this guy, I'm like, it was so fun and so beautiful, and like we had catering back there and booze, and it was just it was just the coolest night. And they were everybody was so appreciative for the opportunity to just catch up and just deep dive into the past and just kind of be kids again for
Very
a night.
Cool. Well, just most of the bands like that were that successful that break up, there's usually some controversy or something. So you still haven't like Mike or Alex, you got to maybe throw something out in the media or something so you can piss each other off. And
I mean, honestly, the funny, they remember so much more than I do, because much like you explained, you know, how crazy and rigorous the schedule was for when I did my solo career at the beginning, it was like that in Hey Monday. Like we were press all the time, acoustic sets, radio things. So I don't remember much because I was so like, it was so fast, and I was 18 and I was like, this is crazy. I'm in Japan, what the hell? So they remember a lot of stuff, and I'm like, you guys probably remember things that would be like damaging to my career. Cause like you're a kid on the road, and there's no parents, there's no rules. You're just like drinking on the bus at 18, you know, totally inappropriate. and you're doing dumb shit. So like, I'm sure they have stuff on me. I don't have anything on them. I mean, I'm sure they had like, you know, girls on the bus and like banged in the back lounge, but I mean, whatever. That's the most I could say about it.
Oh, well. Well, so just for your fans' sake, the door is still open. Right?
Absolutely. And we had so much fun at that reunion show. We would have done it in 2020 had it been a different year, but we were like literally like, let's do this every year. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a couple of songs that we had written and recorded and never released, so those are there, you know, if we ever want to like re-record them or something and release them. But my thing is like, I feel so like there's so much more I want to accomplish in my solo career and if I'm going to do Hey Monday, I really want to like focus on that, but so I don't feel comfortable shifting my attention just yet.
Tell me about 2019. You got to do the Maren Morris tour, the next one, a country, and you also did USO dates.
Yes.
Tell me about the USO dates, because I didn't hear much about that. Now, was it because did you go to secretive locations with the military?
We did. We went to one that we couldn't talk about, and I guess I can't still. But we like the pictures that you take. You can't take them with like the sky, and it was really interesting. And interesting hearing like the reason everybody was there. All the people were there working, and some were like the money, some were like I've always wanted to be in the military, and some were like I just got like sent here, you know, I didn't have a choice. And then we went to Kuwait, we went to Germany, I'm probably I mean it was so I probably have the dates in my phone, but it was a Middle East thing, and it was pretty like luxurious, other than the actual staying at the bases. The plane we were on, we were traveling with the 4-star general, so we had amazing food, and he knew how to make it nice. And then we got to the places and the bases, and it was really hard. Like I remember I think it was in Kuwait or Kosovo, the room that I was staying in had no bathroom, and no sink even. So I, like, even if I wanted to brush my teeth or wash my face or go to the bathroom, it's like, kind of dorm style. You go out and it's like a shared bathroom and stuff. And not great facilities at all. So it was really amazing to hear their missions, and they're policing these places that need it, and they're really like looking out for people that they don't need to be looking out for. And it was obvious to me that these people are pretty selfless to be there and to care about strangers and to be like, we're gonna keep this place in as safe as we can. And then the stories they would tell about kids that were sent on a mission to do something really awful, and it's just the things they have to see and endure, and the amount of time they have to be away from their families. It was a really eye-opening experience. And then we were there during like July 4th, which was really special, that we got to play a show for them. It was basically a variety show. It was me, Angela Johnson, who's a comedian, a few like actresses, and a couple of other musicians and stuff. So it was like we made it a fun show for them. So I was happy that we got to do that on 4th of July.
And all of you performers got to travel together and that sort of thing. So
we traveled on the same plane, and
form a little bond on the mini tour.
Yeah, like I had met Angela a few times through Unlikely Heroes, which is the nonprofit trying to end sex trafficking, and but I didn't really get to know her until these USO dates, and we've remained friends since, because she's just amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can cover any sort of road stories before we get done here. I don't know, you're notorious for your end of tour pranks, but I want to know if you got pranked on your Next Women of Country tour. Did you get pranked?
Did I? Oh, yes. I think they did prank me. It was so Claire Dunn, Hannah Ellis, and I, we played Cry by Faith Hill acoustic during my set. I would bring them up, and they came up in like pajamas, and Claire would play guitar with me for that song, and she started it really slow, and it just was like a prank on like playing the song really slow. It was like a cute prank, but I was like, you gotta stick with me, I'll show you how to. I put this was AJ McLean's idea, actually, because I sang with him a few times. He told me like a really funny, like no nonsense prank that was easy to pull off. I put a banana in the mic stand. So when Claire went up to go start singing, she just like opens her eyes and sees a banana staring her in the face, and she I have a picture of the moment she realized it was a banana.
That's good.
And she started laughing so hard, but it's like a dumb prank that's really funny looking,
Oh, it's hilarious.
I love pranks.
In the moment of walking up to trying to sing.
Yeah, and it's like second nature, so you just go up to the mic and you don't realize what's happening, and it was fantastic. But
now your pranks usually are you have a theme.
Yeah.
With pranking your headliner, that sort of thing, with sending in a substitute for you.
Yeah, I'm really lucky that everybody I've toured with asks me to sing during their set, but they are opening themselves to this prank. I've been doing it since Hey Monday, so this prank has been used for like 15 years now. And it's funny every time. I get someone from the headliner's crew. It could be guitar tech. It was the guitar tech for Rascal Flatts.
Yeah.
It was Marin's merch guy, Fall Out Boys. I think it was one of their guitar techs. But I have the mic that's live. I have that side stage with me. I send out this person dressed as me in drag, with a wig and the works, and
same outfit that
I try to make it the same outfit I would usually wear, with heels and the works, and they have a mic that's off, but they're lip syncing, but I'm singing side stage, so my voice is still coming through to the crowd, and it never fails. The headliner loses it, and they can't sing anymore. But my favorite one was Chris Young's, because I purposefully bought a dress in my size and a bigger size for his tour manager, and I would usually come on stage on this really cool like spinny like revolving door thing, and the spinny door turned and it was Bill in a dress
and heels
and I was singing backstage, and Chris fell to the floor because he was laughing so
It was immediate.
hard.
It was immediate. It didn't have to process it at all. He just saw Bill Cracknell, by the way,
Bill!
tour manager for Chris Young.
He kept the dress and the heels and everything.
He went and bought his own heels, if I remember.
He did.
He wanted to buy his own heels.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
I told him, I was like, you don't have to do the heels because I know you have to walk down those stairs. He's like, oh, I'm doing it. But he's like this like crabby gentleman I never expected to do it. And I asked him, and he was like, all right. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That was one of the best ones. And I did just recently watch, somebody got really good footage of the Rascal Flatts one.
Oh,
in the
yes.
Bucky in the pink dress.
Bucky. Oh, that was so good.
And Gary just losing it. But he went with it. He went with
did.
it and they sang together.
Yeah, it was,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
so fun.
How did Maren Morris react when you...
She was confused at first. What's going on, Leon?
He must have seen a dog or something.
Oh. Yeah, Maren was confused at first because she didn't recognize who it was. And then eventually she like got close enough and started laughing. But she was also confused that she could still hear me singing. So it was like, it kind of blew her mind. And afterwards I was like, did you think it was funny? She was like, yeah, I just was really confused. I was like, okay, good.
What is happening?
And the best part was it was like a pretty big show at the Wiltern in LA. And I was like, fuck it, I'm still going to prank her. I don't care who's here. It was probably like celebrities in the crowd. I was like, whatever, let's do it.
Well, that's when it's best.
Yeah.
Catch them completely off guard.
Yes.
Before we're done, we have to talk about your animals.
Oh, my fur babies.
Cuppy and River.
Yeah.
And they have their own Instagrams.
Yes. River the Whippet, and that is Sam's dog. And then, well, mine now, but, and then Cuppy the puppy.
Right.
And when they first met, Sam and I were like, this might be a deal breaker because they wouldn't stop playing, but like roughhousing. Literally for hours. They would, and it was so distracting. And he and I just wanted to hang and get to know each other. But these dogs were like loud and crazy. And eventually they just settled down. Now they cuddle. They still play hard sometimes, but they love each other so much.
Do you remember back when you first got Cuppy and your parenting skills with Cuppy?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My ex Ryan, probably like a couple years ago now, he was like moving, and he found the poop log that we kept of Cuppy's poop schedule, and he sent me a video of it. He's like, look what I found. What the hell were we doing? Yeah. And I just wanted to know like his schedule. I was like, I was sleep deprived. He was waking me up every 3 hours to go to the bathroom, and I was like, I need to know when this dog needs to go outside, because then I can really understand him. And and we had a poop log that was probably like 100 pages or something crazy. And when anyone would watch him, we'd be like, if you could just write down when he poops, that would be great. So like any friend or my sister would mess with us and write the texture of it, like soft but a little bit firm, just it was hilarious.
I remember that you were trying to explain to me. I was so wait a minute, what are you doing now? You're logging.
I know. It was a little like overbearing. And then Cuppy, I really tried to like make him socialize from day one. So I wasn't like just being super quiet when he was taking naps. I was like purposefully trying to be like, okay, I want him to get used to people. I want him to bring him on the road, and it worked because he loves people, and
totally.
will like take a nap anywhere.
He's a good road dog too.
He's a great road dog. He likes to bunk hop and visit people throughout the night, and I always have to be like, don't sleep in the bottom if you don't want a visit from Cuppy. And everyone's like, oh, I want a visit from Cuppy.
It just kind of randomly shows up at your bunk.
Yeah, he'll just like crawl in and get under the blanket. Cute.
Before we wrap it up, Let's talk about food. You didn't used to cook very much, but I've seen you cooking a little bit online.
Yeah, I'm like pretty good. I made banana bread yesterday because I had bananas that I knew I wasn't going to eat. And, I was just like, I'll just make banana bread. I've been doing a lot of Instant Pot stuff because my manager, Daniel, got me one a couple years ago, and that's been incredible. But I make a mean creamy Tuscan chicken. I've learned to bake, so I learned how to make English scones and mainly for Sam because he's not been able to go home to England. He's like homesick, so I learned to make these things called pasties that are basically like massive Hot Pockets. Yeah. That's a very Cornish dish. Yeah. But yeah, it's been nice because like we went out so much before the pandemic and we were spending stupid amounts of money, and we're not, we're pretty frugal people. So I was like, I'm going to really dive into this cooking thing, and it's really been great.
That's been a benefit of this time.
Yeah, and Sam's benefited too.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll bet. Does he cook at all?
He does. He's good at it, but he's like, I don't really want to cook. And I was like, fine. I like cooking, so perfect.
Well, let's talk about, for those that maybe don't know, if you don't already know how to follow you, you've got CASSADEEPOPE.com website, at Cassidy Pope, Twitter and Instagram. What else?
Facebook, just same Cassidy Pope.
Yeah.
It's the ones with the blue check mark. That's me. So
to wrap up, again, the toughness and the durability that you have always displayed since I've known you, it's common in a lot of artists, but I think that not enough people know about the mentally tough struggles when you have personal things or emotional things going on, and that to get up on stage, carry a smile, and be entertaining, and make it, you try to be consistent with that. It's not easy. People sometimes have to walk into their offices and do that, but they don't necessarily have to entertain, and they don't have to carry a smile all day long, that sort of thing. So I think a lot of it comes from you starting at such an early age, but it's very admirable, and you've done it well. You've gone. I've seen you go through a lot of different challenges, and you keep smiling, and it's very inspiring.
Thank you. Well, it helps to have people on the road that comfort you and are like family. So I owe a lot of that, keeping it together, to you and the band. And I mean, you guys are like family. So
well, you build a family on the road. I talk about that a lot with a lot of other people, and we go on the bus, riding on the road together in a small confined space like this for a long time really bonds you together. Yeah. So everyone go and follow and like and stream. Her latest is Rise and Shine, with new exciting things coming up depending on when this thing whenever you're seeing or hearing this thing. Miss Cassidy Pope, thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Don.
Awesome. Very cool.
That
Thanks,
was
everybody.
Great.
Oh, thanks.
Well done.
Thanks so much for watching. Let us know what you thought by leaving us a comment. You can also follow us on these social networks. And if you want to see more, please like, share, and subscribe.